When wildfires tore through Los Angeles earlier this year, they didn't just burn trees and homes, they burned the sense of normalcy so many families relied on. Smoke filled the skies, dreams turned to dust, and entire communities were left wondering how to begin again. Among the wreckage and worry stood a 14-year-old girl from Altadena, a student, a daughter, a dreamer who refused to give up. Her name is Avery Colvert. She lost her school. Her neighborhood was in ruins. But somewhere between fear and faith, she found something stronger: purpose. While others waited for help to come, Avery became the help. With nothing but her phone and her heart, she created Altadena Girls, an Instagram page that started as a lifeline for displaced girls who had lost everything. Clothes, comfort kits, beauty essentials, small items that might seem trivial to some, but to those who had nothing, they meant everything. Because Avery understood something that the world often forgets: that sometimes healing begins with the smallest act of care. That feeling human again can be the first step toward rebuilding a life. And that's when her story reached someone who knew that truth all too well. A woman who has weathered her own storms, rebuilt her own sense of self, and used her platform to lift others who've been silenced or overlooked. That woman is Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. And what happened next? A meeting of two powerful hearts, two generations of empathy, became a moment the world needed to see. A story about how kindness can move mountains, how compassion can create community, and how one duchess and one teenage girl proved that leadership doesn't always wear a crown. Sometimes it wears courage. Enter Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, a woman who knows what it means to rebuild, to lead through empathy, and to turn compassion into action. When Meghan read Avery's story, she didn't just repost it. She didn't issue a statement. She showed up. A Los Angeles native herself, Meghan joined local volunteers to deliver donations to displaced families. Quietly, without cameras, without fanfare. And when Town and Country magazine approached her to spotlight stories of modern philanthropy, Meghan chose to elevate Avery. Because to Meghan, this wasn't about celebrity. It was about connection. In their interview, Meghan didn't play the interviewer. She played the listener. She asked Avery questions that only someone who has lived through empathy could ask. How did you find hope when everything around you felt gone? What made you believe that beauty, even in small ways, could heal? It was a conversation between two generations of changemakers, one royal by title, the other royal by spirit. Through Avery's voice, we heard resilience. Through Meghan's empathy, we found reflection. That one viral post? It's now a movement. Altadena Girls has grown into a thriving community initiative, opening a new hub in Pasadena. Global names, Fender Guitars and Hilton, have come aboard as partners. Together, they're building creative and wellness rooms for girls who lost everything. It's no longer about relief, it's about rebirth. And that's the power of empathy turned into structure. That's the kind of leadership Meghan Markle champions, leadership that listens, not dictates. Meghan has always believed that real leadership starts with understanding. From Archewell to her advocacy for women's mentorship, she's shown that compassion is not weakness, it's strategy. In this story, she doesn't just highlight Avery, she frames her as the future. The way Meghan writes and speaks here isn't performative. It's personal. It's rooted in her lived truth, that empathy is the bridge between brokenness and rebuilding. And that's what makes her stand out. Not for titles, not for glamour, but for grace in action. The magazine article made Altadena Girls a national story. Meghan's interview and Avery's voice inspired millions. The story wasn't about celebrity, it was about amplifying a young hero. Altadena Girls became a symbol of hope and grassroots action. Donations and support poured in from across the country. Major brands offered supplies for comfort kits. Avery coordinated with companies, ensuring donations matched teens' needs. The movement grew, but its heart stayed the same: dignity and choice. Other communities started their own versions, reaching out to Avery for advice. A network of young leaders formed, united by empathy. Avery and Meghan co-hosted virtual workshops, sharing lessons on outreach and compassion. What began as a whisper in a smoke-filled town became a roar of kindness. The ripple effect spread across the nation. The spirit of Altadena Girls inspired a new generation of changemakers. Let's give Meghan her flowers, right here, right now. Because while the tabloids shout nonsense, the truth whispers louder. She's out there, rolling up her sleeves, mentoring the next generation, showing up where it counts. This wasn't a photo op. This was a lesson in humanity. A reminder that real royalty is about what you give, not what you wear. About how you lift others, not how you're seen. Meghan saw a young girl's courage and said, "Let's amplify this." And in doing so, she amplified hope. Avery Colvert's journey reminds us that even the smallest acts, a donated hoodie, a care kit, a kind word, can light up the darkest days. And Meghan's belief in empathy as power proves that kindness can be revolutionary. Together, they're rewriting what leadership looks like: young, female, compassionate, fearless. So the next time someone tells you that empathy doesn't matter, tell them about a 14-year-old from Altadena who turned ashes into action, and a duchess from Montecito who turned compassion into connection. Because this, right here, is how change begins, not with noise, but with heart. Real leadership grows from empathy. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex.